I would like to cover my last slides in another 5 minutes, which is enforcement, right? Enforcement is uh, if there is an infringement of your patent, what you need to do is to enforce it, right? Because if you are not willing to enforce it, then the patent, will have no uh, value, right? This is the monopoly right that you want to uphold. That's what you can achieve through the enforcement. So to do enforcement, there are few steps, few practices. You need to monitor. You need to investigate. If you see someone copying, you need to investigate and collect evidence, usually through a trap purchase. Then you need to evaluate the case to see whether it is worth suing or not. Yeah, so some cases, if it's a $2 company, you may not want to sue. You may want to sue not the manufacturer if it's a $2 company. You may want to sue the end user, which is $1 million company, because you don't want to sue, you know, a company of no means, right? They can't pay even the damages. So you can choose, do the evaluation, and you can plan for the reaction plan and also start the reaction. So monitoring is by you, looking out constantly, finding out, whether your idea has been copied by the competitors. It can be online or offline. Investigation. If you want to go to court, you need to have evidence in hand. So usually what we do in a patent litigation, we need to buy a unit of the infringing product, and we'll do an infringement analysis. That we will come up with a report to see whether there is or without any infringement before we issue a letter of warning. Then we will have to do evaluation of the infringement, whether there is technical merits, there's legal merits to take the action. Sometimes, if the technical merit is not strong, you may want to drop the case. And what are the possible defenses? The other side will definitely, not just sit there and take your punches, right? They would counter counter react, and they would usually in a patent case, they would try to invalidate your patent by arguing to the court that your patent is not valid due to lack of novelty or inventiveness. So when your patent was examined for grant, the examiner already say that your patent is novel and your patent is inventive. That's why you are granted. But when you sue someone, the court will again look into that. They will see the possible defenses raised by the defendant would be that your patents are not valid because of lack of novelty or inventiveness, and they will try to challenge you. So be ready for that. Yep. And patent litigation is expensive because you have to fight this type of thing. And cease and desist letter is what we do. Usually, we will start with issuing a warning letter and ask them to negotiate for settlement, sign certain undertaking, or if they do not comply with our demand, we probably will take a legal actions in court. So it's a civil action that we take. So I would like to share or end my presentation on enforcement by sharing with you a Dyson case, which is a landmark case in patent litigation. Dyson was the first company to come up with a backless vacuum cleaner. In the past, all vacuum cleaner has back, using back to filter out the dust from the air. So what Dyson has done is Dyson borrowed the idea from Cyclone, from Tornado, right? Cyclone. So Cyclone used the Cyclone to separate, the physical object from the air. So Dyson gained the inspiration again from uh, the tropical cyclone, and use the idea, like the case of Velcro, into uh, this product. So they come up with a uh, uh, dual cyclonic airway, uh, and this is what Dyson has done. So you suck in the air, you create the first cyclone in the red color outside. So the cyclone will separate the dust from the air because of the centrifugal force, right? The heavier one will get flung to the side, and then the air will go through a second chamber. The second chamber faster, and the air spin faster, and it throws out the final object. And when air comes out, it becomes clean. You don't need a bag to separate the air from the dust. That's what the idea is about, right? This idea was borrowed from law natural phenomena, from a tornado, right? So a this is an application of something into uh, borrowed from nature into a product. So like what I said just now, it's a centripetal force that separates the dust from the air. So what happened is, when Dyson went into the market, there were established players like Hoover. Hoover used to be the biggest player in vacuum cleaner. So because the Dyson dual cyclonic vacuum cleaner, the backless vacuum cleaner, took the market by storm, right? Because the effect was so good, you don't need to change the bag, because changing the bag is a hassle. And also, after you use a bag vacuum cleaner for a while, the suction power decreases because the pores of the bag was clogged up by the dust. When it's clogged up by the dust, the suction power reduces. But when you use cyclone, double cyclone, there's no such problem. The power continues to be good, right? The suction power continues to be good. So when Hoover saw that, Dyson come up with a new vacuum cleaner, backless vacuum cleaner, and it took over a lot of market share from Hoover. Hoover saw that, they come up with a triple vortex. Instead of having two chamber, they put in a three chamber. So they brought this to the market to compete with Dyson. So Hoover at that time was the big giant. Dyson was a startup in the early 1990, was very new, right? So you have a giant versus a David versus a Goliath situation, where small player coming into the market, big player copy a small player. So what can Dyson do, right? So Dyson, even though they were small, they took Hoover to court. So this basically was the invention filed by Dyson. So it's a combination, as I've been highlighting from the beginning. What you own is a combination which is captured in your claim. So this is what the claim reads. The claim reads that first element is you have cyclonic unit of successive higher efficiency. So cyclonic unit of successive higher, the first cyclonic unit is outside, and the second cyclonic unit is inside, and it got faster from the first to the second, so it's successive higher efficiency. The higher efficiency cyclone have a conical part, a Fusco conical part. You get a con, and and you have a mean of generating the airflow, which is a motor, and characterize it in that the lower efficiency unit upstream of the higher efficiency unit has a cylinder. So cylinder to collect dust. So basically, it's two cyclonic unit, one cone, one cylinder, and a motor to actually create the air, the cyclone air. So it doesn't say it's two or three. It say successive, cyclonic unit of successive higher efficiency. So when Hoover came up with the tri-pax triple vortex having three chamber, you know, this matter went to court, and in the court, what the judge will do is to compare the claim with the infringing product side by side to see whether the infringing product has all the elements claimed in the claim or not, in the patent claim or not. If all the element is in the patent claim, that will be an infringement, because what you own is actually the combination, and whether the combination is found in the infringing product will determine whether there's any infringement. So it's a side by side comparison. So it's a vacuum cleaner, and it has a cyclonic unit of successive higher efficiency. Triple vortex have three cyclone. Dyson has two cyclone, but it still falls within the claim. It has a Fusco conical shape in the Dyson, uh, also in Hoover, and you have a motor to create air and also a cylinder to collect the dust. So as a result of which the court judged or adjudicated that there was an infringement of this patent because all the elements claimed in the Dyson patent was found in the infringing product by Hoover. So as a result of which, the court ordered that, Hoover pay 4 million as damages to Dyson. And Dyson using the money, start to invest in more plant, and they come up with, a lot of factory. And as it is today, Dyson is one of the world's biggest vacuum cleaner manufacturer. So this is an example of how a small company having a good patent for a good technology, and they successfully enforce it and to establish themselves into one of the world's most successful consumer electronics company. So with that, I thank you for your time.